Hello, you real estate freaks and geeks out there. Today is April the 3rd, 2022. Actually, it just hit midnight, so it's actually April the 4th right now. I just finished updating the numbers for my weekly market report. But before we dig into those, there's a lot of things that are in the news these days that you should be aware of. The interest rates are going up. The government just released some plans to tackle on affordability. What does all this stuff mean to you? We'll talk about those things at the end of the video, but without further ado, let's get into the numbers and see what's going on with the downtown condo market. So if you actually look at the number of active downtown sales listings, the trend is that it's going up. It's gone up to 829 active listings as of me updating this report. The week before, 792 listings. So it's gone up about 30 listings. Not that significant, but the trend is going up, so inventory is starting to build. One thing to note is if you actually look at the raw data, there was actually more listings that were listed in the C1 district than in the C8 district. So you can see that the C1 district had about 33 more listings, and the C8 district had only 4 more listings. And if you don't know what the C8 or C1 district is, this is what the C1 district is. This is Yonge Street here. This is Bloor Street. South of Bloor, this is DVP, all the way to the water, but you can see that it follows the train tracks here for the C1 border, and then covers Liberty Village. So these are the 2 districts that we're looking at in the downtown core when I'm looking at these numbers, just so you have some context in regards to the areas we're talking about. So if you look at the number of active unit sales that happened in the month of March, there were 819 sales in total for March, which was a very good March. If you look at obviously the previous March, which was during unprecedented times during COVID, we had 1,109. Again, I don't think we'll ever see those numbers, not anytime soon. March of 2020, right when COVID hit, we had 502 sales. That was still a very busy month, and the year before we had 528 sales when there was no such thing as COVID. So 2019 had 528 sales. So 819 sales has been a phenomenal month for the downtown core in regards to number of unit sales. And again, if you look at the average prices, you can see that the average price of a condo in downtown is now $888,000. So that has gone up. But if you know me, I don't like to use the average prices to look at the value appreciation. To do that, you want to look at the HVI tool. So I pulled it up here. So C1 district apartment, the benchmark price just over $862,000. In C8, we're looking at just under $800,000 right now. So use this metric to look at price because there are no outliers in this value. So that's the one that we want to use for pricing. So if you look at the median prices, again, some people like to use median price metric. Right now the median price is $780,000. So if you look at the sales price list price ratio in the downtown core, you can see that right now we're at 110.16%. So most properties are selling for 110% over the asking price. I'm starting to see that changing right now in the market, with the higher interest rates, and I just think the overall buyer sentiment. But we'll see how those numbers get affected in April. Not 100% sure right now, but a lot of the showings on our listings have gone down. We're not seeing as much activity on our listings anymore, and bidding wars are not as active as they used to be. So now let's take a look at the days on market. As you can see, as you would expect, the days on market is only 10 days. Very low. Things are moving very quickly in a market where the prices are going for 110% over asking price. This is only 10 days on the market because people are holding back on offers. In reality, it should be 0. So now let's quickly jump into the rental market just to see what the market is doing there and kind of seeing how it's going to change in the future. So right now the trend is that the active listings is going down. So we've lost over 100 active listings from the previous week. So if this continues, supply is going to get tightened, and if going into the warmer months when the rental market is most active, we're going to most likely see the prices start going up. If you look at the number of units that were leased in the month of March, there was 1,903 units that were leased, which was a very good month. If you look at the previous Marches, again, we're going to skip the COVID March because this was unprecedented and the prices were a lot lower back then. If you look at the previous March, right before COVID, we had 1,178. In 2019, we had 1,401. So 1,903 units leased is quite a very, very good number. So we had a very good rental market in March, and we'll probably continue to do so into April as well. If you look at the average rent prices, it's gone up slightly now to $25.09. If you look at the median prices now, it's starting to tick up. So we've been quite flat in the rental market for the past, I'd say like 8 months. March is starting to tick upward. If you're a landlord, you're going to want to continually see this go up, but this will only happen if the amount of supply goes down. Because if the supply keeps going down, it's going to tighten the market. There's going to be less options for the renters, and they're going to start pushing the rents up. If you look at the downtown condo list price rent price ratio, it is starting to tick up. So as the market gets more active and inventory gets tighter, you'll see this number go up, because there's going to probably be bidding wars happening. If it gets to a point where there's not enough inventory for the amount of demand that's going to be out there. The condo rental days on market is relatively fat. It takes about 20 days right now to rent your property in downtown Toronto. So let's quickly go through the average prices for studios right now. It's $530,000. So we're looking at about $710,000 for a one bedroom right now in downtown. For a one bedroom den, you're looking at about $790,000. Two bedrooms are just under $1 million. Two bedroom dens are over $1.3 million now. The three bedrooms are $1.73 million, and I would skip anything above this because there's not enough data to give me any relevance here. If you look at the rental market, studios are going for about $1,770 right now in the downtown. One bedrooms are going for about $2,088. One bedroom dens are getting $2,334. Two bedrooms are getting just under $3,000. Two bedroom dens are getting about $3,500, and the three beds are getting more than $4,200 a month in downtown. So now let's talk about some information that we've been seeing in the news. I saw this article a few days ago from CBC, basically saying that Ford government unveils a plan to fix soaring Ontario house prices. I read through this report. There's another. If you actually want to see the details of it, you can actually go to this article. I'll put a link in my description below. Basically, they're looking at tackling the supply side of things, making it easier for developers to build so they can get supply out faster and kind of eliminating some of the red tape that it takes to develop housing in Ontario. Hopefully releasing more supply. Again, that's a good thing, but I don't think it's going to have really any immediate impact on the market right now, because it takes at least 4 to 5 years to build a new condo and bring it to market. So any changes that they make to policy and to the supply side right now, it's really going to have no effect. Right now, if you want to make some instant change to the market and make things more affordable, you're going to have to attack the demand side, but that's not what they're doing here. They tried to attack the demand side by increasing the foreign buyer tax by 20% and expanding it outside of the Golden Horseshoe to include all of Ontario. I don't know if that's going to have real much of an impact. It's probably going to, make some foreigners unhappy. But to be honest, I think most of the buyers are local. I don't see that many foreign buyers, especially in my business, that are buying. Majority of our clients, like I would say probably like 98% of them, local buyers. So don't know if this is going to really have much of an impact on the demand side of things. If they really wanted to attack the demand side of things, I did mention to some of my clients that there were rumors that they were going to put 35% down requirements on investors. They were not going to allow people to use their HELOCs to buy real estate, but none of those things are in his plan. So I don't think those items are going to come to play. I don't think those are on the table anymore. I think they were just rumors. You know, we can pretend that those didn't happen. In regards to interest rates, I read this article in the Financial Post, economists predicting multiple half-point rate hikes in Canada. Basically, if you read through this article, it says that some banks are forecasting 3 consecutive 50 basis point increases, a 1.5% increase. And this is on the variable interest rates, because basically Bank of Canada, if you don't understand how it works, so Bank of Canada, so this is the targeted interest rate that we're at right now. We're at 0.5%. This is the Bank of Canada's interest rate. So whenever they say they're raising their interest rates, this is what they're raising. This is going to, if they raise it 3 more times by 0.5%, it's going to go to 2%. So what this affects is the variable rates, because the variable rates are pegged to the Bank of Canada's rate. And you can see where the prime rate is, because basically the prime rate gets affected by the Bank of Canada interest rate. So the prime rate right now is 2.7%. So if they increase this 3 more times, we're going to be at 4.2%. Typically, when you get a variable rate, the banks will offer you something like a prime minus like 0.6 or 0.8 or 1%, something like that. The last time I talked to my RBC advisor, they said that the bank was offering variable rates at prime minus 0.6. If it went up to 4.2%, then you would be having an interest rate of 3.6%. That's the way these interest rates work, and that's why it's important. If these interest rates start to increase to a certain level, obviously affordability is going to get affected, because it's going to cost buyers more to carry their property and make their mortgage payments. What else is going to happen is the people that already have variable interest rates, they're going to see their costs go up. I read somewhere about 25% of all mortgages are variable rate interest rate mortgages. With the current inflationary environment, having more costs going to your properties is definitely going to have some sort of impact on the real estate market. So let's talk about the bond yields, because bond yields, what does this mean and why is that important? So the 5-year bond yield is important because fixed mortgage interest rates are tied to the bond yields. So the 5-year fixed rate mortgage is tied to these yields. So if these yields go up, the 5-year fixed rate mortgages start to go up. I actually saw this tweet. One of my agents sent this to me, basically saying that the 5-year now at 2.4% and counting. He said, you know, his data goes back 22 years and he's never seen a 15-day surge in the yields like this ever. He's saying that the banks will start breaking 4% by next week if this continues. Yeah, which probably is true. I know RBC right now is offering 3.83%, I believe. So definitely a lot higher than, you know, just a few months ago when you can get 5-year fixed rate mortgages in the 2%. So why is a 5-year fixed rate mortgage important? It's important because not only is your cost going to go up, but they use the 5-year fixed rate mortgage for the stress test. I can get into more detail in this in another video, but basically the higher the fixed rate mortgage is, the higher the requirement for your stress test. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out over the next weeks and months. I am definitely seeing the market changing. It's not quite the seller's market as it was before. I still think that the market is good, and I know that there are people that have locked in their rates. They still have time to utilize the old rates that they have locked in. Usually they expire in 3 months. Those people are definitely still in the market, and probably this is the last opportunity they'll have before they really start to see their rates go up. Some of them might even be priced out of the market because the rates are going to go up. However, I see maybe the real estate market adjusting in price to compensate for that higher expense for the buyers. But we'll see. I'm actually going to probably do a spreadsheet and go through the actual cost increase with the new rates and see how that should offset the prices of real estate, and we can kind of measure and track to see if actually that number is really affected. Wait for that in a future video. I'll definitely post it So thanks for watching. I do appreciate you sticking it out to the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments or would like me to talk about anything else related to real estate, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I do think that this environment where we're seeing increased interest rates will create some opportunities for people that have been sitting on the sideline, as the prices will probably be affected. So for those who have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for an opportunity, this might be it to get into the real estate game. And if you haven't gotten to the real estate game already, it's probably one of the best things you could do in your life. Personally, I've built most of my wealth in real estate, and it's been one of the best things that I could have ever done. So much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video.